One of the more striking pieces of research that I found, it's not in the slide, but was that 10 to 15% of all kids that in early childhood have very aggressive tendencies that could lead, if not dealt with, could really lead to some more severe problems as they get older. But I learned that 30% of kids, that percent rises to 30% when you're dealing with kids in poverty, which is a lot to say about what kind of resilient environments we're going to develop. This I'm going to put in, whoops, can I go back? Okay, well you have it on your slide. It's really the backbone of a system development piece that I think talks about values, talks about services and supports, the building blocks of building a system, and it talks about promotion, prevention, and intervention. What I really want to highlight about that slide is that the part that I never really had done before is supporting caregivers. I'd supported families, I supported kids, but supporting caregivers was the important, thank you, was the important new element. The other part was the whole issue of prevention, promotion, and intervention. You know, one of the things about mental health is I still can't think of any promotional message about mental health. I mean, I know for dental health, it's about fluoride and flossing and brushing. In prevention, I can't think of a positive thing about mental health that I know of. I know all about intervention. And, you know, if you use the dental health model, dental health is not all about extractions and fillings. But in mental health, that's the message that gets done. One of the things that we did right in the beginning was to take a look at what are the mental health issues of very young children. And immediately it was about families and the environment of family that brings up a young child. And a maternal or paternal depression, family history of substance abuse, and family history of domestic violence or violence in their community are the precursors of bringing on mental health. That's not treating an individual. That's not just treating a family. It's also treating the environment. Well, you know, we know that we should be doing promotion and prevention, and we know we should be doing early childhood mental health. But you know, those bureaucracies, they just don't allow us to do it. Well, we really need to change that model. This is the right thing to do, and we need to figure out how to do it. We were able, as a result of that testimony from those 7 women parents, we needed to figure out something to do. In our case, we applied for a SAMHSA grant. And even though the grant was about severely emotionally disturbed, we decided that there are children 0 to 6 that are severely emotionally disturbed, but there are also teen parents that we're serving that have severe emotional disturbance. And we jerry-rigged that grant to get the seed money that we needed to get going. And what we really wanted to get going was infusing mental health into early childhood system of care. We had a number of partners, and this was about a cultural exchange of ideas. This was about bringing huge numbers of people together, hearing a lot of pain, a lot of anger at different agencies, different places, and trying to find some common ground. Just some of the people at the state level that we involved: Head Start Collaboration, Success by 6, Parent-Child Centers, Domestic Violence Network, Child Care Centers, Daycare Centers, Early Education, Early Essential Education, Alcohol, Drug Abuse, Part C, WIC, Healthy Babies, child care subsidy, protective services and family support child care, just to name a few. In those days, in those early meetings, I had a screensaver on my computer that said, sometimes you just go home with a headache, because it was hard work. What we did was, again, we wanted communities to take charge of this process. With the grant funding, we put out what we called an invitation to communities. And what we said in the 12 different geographic areas of Vermont, we said, we want your parents, every area, every agency that has anything to do with early child care, every parent that you can find. We want you to sit together at a table, mental health professionals. We want you to sit at a table and say, what would the ideal system look like if we were infusing mental health into the early childhood system of care? And that we will give you grant funding based on your prioritized needs after you do that planning. What's important about that exercise was the grant funding did not create the system of care. The grant funding got people together to talk, and the resources were in that room before any additional funding came in. And people really went through the cultural exchange, the same thing we went through at the state level. And these were the items that they came up with in the various areas that we collapsed them into 3 different topic areas. Parenting and child care training opportunities. Anytime there was an early childhood training, that we wanted parents and child care workers to be at it along with everybody else, because they were the people that are taking care of our children. Behavioral consultation in child care settings and school settings. People did not want what the early childhood system said called pull-out therapy. We want consultation and education for the whole environment. That was the part that I was learning about. It's the environment, stupid. You know, it's about the place where they are, not about this intrapsychic having a little toddler on a couch kind of piece. And the other thing that they were asking for was something I was so comfortable with. I had been doing this all my life, is in-home direct therapeutic and consultation services. I could do that. As a mental health professional, I knew how to do that. I was glad that they suggested we do something we know how to do. But the rest was learning.